Has there been success amid this pandemic? You know, it might sound crazy, but even through all of the economic problems COVID has caused, businesses, startups, they're booming.
Yeah, you know, sometimes necessity breeds the best inventions, and people are doing it. So they're finding success. To learn a little bit more about how to do this, we are joining author and entrepreneur Stephen Gerard, who knows a thing or two about creating success. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I met a woman yesterday or the day before. She decided to open up a restaurant, and I asked her if she was nuts, and she said yes. But they're making a go of it, and they're looking forward to the future, and they're being optimistic. How are people succeeding amidst this pandemic?
Well, you know, my specific niche, and it's a niche with millions of people in it, are B2B professionals. So professional services business like accountants, lawyers, engineers, architects, consultants. During the pandemic, a lot of those people were furloughed, certainly working from home, and they had those curious moments saying, boy, there's got to be a better way. I feel like I'm kind of stuck in the middle seat. And they've decided, not all of them obviously, but they've decided to branch out and either start a side business or to leave their employment and start their own accounting firm, legal firm, or consulting business. And if they've developed the experience and the network to make something like that succeed and have a chance at it, it's actually the perfect time to start a business.
And that's what the name of your book is, Stuck in the Middle Seat. But why do you say mid-career is one of the best times? I think people are afraid to branch out because they're like, well, I got these benefits, it's a good enough job, and they stay stuck. Why do you say it's a good time?
You know, probably a couple of reasons. First is you've accumulated those 10,000 hours of experience. You know, by the time you're in the middle of your career, you better be pretty good at something. And you probably love or really like what you're doing. So that's a perfect time to start a career, and you've got the expertise. The other thing that I say to folks, and I often speak to students and graduate students, is learn when you're in your 20s, lead when you're in your 30s, and leverage both of those when you're in your 40s. Now, I don't mean to be literal. It has to be decade by decade in those ages. Some people move through that progression quicker. But in your 20s, learn everything you can about what you're doing. Become expert in it, really good in it. Learn the businesses, the business models. Then in your 30s, you'll start to be promoted, lead teams, departments, divisions, maybe client projects. And then when you're in your 40s, you've probably also developed a network in that industry of people. It's the perfect time to start a business.
And well, what about me? I'm in my 50s.
58.
Good for you.
You know what? Nowadays with people, it's cliche to say it, nowadays with people living longer, living healthier, you know, the concept of retirement, you know, died 20 years ago. You know, put in your 40 years and get a pension and go off to Florida. You know, that just doesn't really happen that much anymore. So I don't think it's restricted to your 40s. You know, it could be in your 60s and you want a nice little side business or a large business, and you just go for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean by failing forward? You should fail forward.
Fail forward is a cute way of saying learn by doing. You know, I've seen two types of entrepreneurs. One that fail forward, they move quick and they learn by actually doing it. They go visit clients, they start projects, and they do things. And I've seen other entrepreneurs who, when it's time to get out and do it, stay in the office at home or and work on the PowerPoint deck again and say, you know what, I want to just get this better before I start. So fail forward is learn by doing and just get going. You're going to fail. You just need to adjust and keep tweaking.
And what, you know, I'm sure there's, if you're going to I'm already thinking, I'm getting nervous just thinking about it. The range of emotions that a person is going to go through with starting a business like this has got to be incredible.
Yeah, it definitely has its highs and lows. One of the things I've kind of discovered in my first year or two, I called it the Bermuda Triangle of emotions. On any given day, you're kind of balancing patience, persistence, and panic. You know, and you don't know what to do on any given day. I'll give you an example. You're waiting for a client to call you because they said they'd call you that day with an answer. You don't know whether to be patient and wait for the call. You don't know whether to be persistent. Should I send them a quick note, see how they're doing? And you don't know when 5 o'clock hits if you should panic oh my gosh, they never called me. So on any given day, you're balancing those emotions. And my best advice to someone in our shoes is sleep on it, because patience and persistence and panic on a Tuesday looks different on a Wednesday.
Absolutely right.
Love it.
You
Sleep
love the
on it.
24-hour rule.
Is there something you think people are afraid to branch out because they don't want to give up the security that they have? It made it easier in the pandemic, in a way, if you lost your job. But if you are trying to start something while you're already in something, what's your advice about bridging that security to the unknown?
You've got to be governed by your ethics. Being in a job and then starting something on the side, if it's competitive or something like that, is often a tricky one. For myself, I literally was in a few internet startups. They did not work out, and I had 6 months of severance. So I was out of work. And I said, you know what? That 6 months of severance gives me enough run room and a little bit extra with savings to give it a go. And I said, you know what? Just hold my breath and let's go for it. I had kids in high school ready for college and a big mortgage, but I said, you know what? You gotta let it rip.
All right.
Wow, good for you.
Thank you for your advice. We appreciate it so much. Thanks for coming on Better.
Thanks for having me.